guys, it's Patty, Cook, Cut, and Create. It's Friday, August the 16th, 2024, and I am here for the pumpkin video today. Remember, if you watched my last video, I gave you a sneak peek of what we were doing today for our craft, and there's 3 different versions so far of pumpkins. We got one made with deco mesh and felt animals and a little bit of ribbons. We have one that's decoupage with napkins. Then we have one that's done with fabric and leaves and all sorts of little critters. And the one we're going to do today is going to be a Halloween version. I'm going to work with ribbon and a few other doodads. So let me get set up, go grab all my materials, get the hair put up because it's hot again today, and I'll see you right back here. 3, 2, 1, and we go. Alright guys, I'm back. Okay, so the pumpkin for today is one of the larger ones. I do believe this is right at a 10.5-inch pumpkin. I've had it a few years. The manufacturer date on the back of it is 2018. So 6 years I've had this and it's been laying in wait for me. But I'm going to use ribbon to start at the bottom and run it all the way up to the base of the stem here. That's going to be my first step. Let's see. I do know I've got different ribbons here. I've got Frankenstein. There we go. Frank. We got one that says Happy Halloween, but this is going the wrong direction because it's going to be going this way. So this one is out. I'm not going to use Frank. I do know that. Then I have this one here, but I'm kind of not feeling that one. I think the ones I think I want to use is going to be these 3 here. And this is an orange one, even though you can't really see it that well. And then I have one here that says Boo, Spooky, and Eek on it. And the words on that one go in the right direction. So I think I want to do 3 ribbons. Need to figure out which 3 I want to. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. And I think I'm going to go with these guys. I think I'm going to go the 2.5 inches on the outsides and have this one right here in the middle. Now see what it's going to do. The way the ribbons are going to go. So the stripes are going the right way. This one kind of runs at a diagonal and up and down. You know what? Some people would say no. They'd say no, let's go for a green. And I probably should go for a green. But you know what? I'm going to go for this. Like I said, I'm different. So that's what we're going to do. So let me go ahead and pop this ribbon here open. Normally I've already taken the ribbons off of the rolls. And I have not at this point. So we're going to take, and you guys are going to see how I fly by the seat of my pants. Let's get these guys out of the way. I hope the lighting is a little bit better today. Using lighting I have till I can decide what to do here. Need some scissors, some good ones. I'm having to replace my scissors. As I'm rebooting the studio here, I'm discovering that, 20 years worth of using scissors, I definitely need to replace them at this point, because after a while they just have lost their functionality because I've used them for glue stuff, just stuff you shouldn't use your scissors for. Let's put it that way. So we're going to start. We're going to figure out how long these pieces need to be. First thing I want to do with this particular ribbon here, we're going to take them. And yes, normally you would use a rotary cutter. That would be the recommended thing to do, but I'm just going to use my little cutter bees. And these are EK Success scissors for fine detailing. But these little scissors, I love them. I love them. I love them. They're super sharp. But EK Success, they were cutter bees. Let's see. Yeah. So, and it's a precision type. I love little scissors. I love little scissors. But let's take a look here. We're going to be attaching this to the bottom. And we'll run them up the sides to right up here. So we're going to take it to the line above the boo there. And cut it across. And I'm actually going to go, but there's that particular ribbon that's there. And like I said, I'm just going to be, and normally I would attach from the bottom up to the top, but in this case, because I want to just go to the bottom of the stem on the pumpkin with this one, I'm only going to start attaching up here, and then I will attach it probably in a few more places as I tack it down, and I'm going to take it all the way to the bottom. But yep, so that's where I'm going to set the pumpkin aside for the moment. I'm going to go ahead and cut probably 6 of these guys. And because they have words on them, I want to try to make sure that the words are going to hit just the right spot. So, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pre-cut all my ribbon, and I'll be right back. 1/2-inch ribbon here because it's glittery. There's glitter all over the table. I can't even begin to tell you. And this one is actually the one I'm going to start with. And like I said, we're going to start at the bottom. Hot glue. We're going to go right here in the middle. And just tack it into place. Going to hold it there for just a few seconds. But I put it directly in the middle. And you push too hard, it will come through on your fingers. So while I'm thinking about it, where are you guys at? I have fingertip covers just for this reason. For hot glue, because hot glue will burn you very badly. So there's one. Go ahead and put one on this one. Because I have a burn that's just now starting to heal that's in between my two fingers here that was pretty bad. So that one is in place. She's ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hot glue in place on the curve at the bottom here. It's just a brief little one here. I'm not going to go big. Just push on it a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and take it up, the pumpkin. Just like that. And you're going to want to pull this tight unless you plan on moving it and slipping things in it. Go ahead and pull it tight. I'm going to tack another one right here and then right up here on the curve. Right along the pumpkin there. Hold it 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about the glue strings at the moment. Happens with all glue sticks and all glue guns. Get that off of there. Don't want the lumpage. And since we're covering this from ribbon, I'm not going to worry about the glue that got left behind, and when you clear it out, it smudges a little bit. Now, remember I said that I want to make sure that the stem stays clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this ribbon off right here so it lays flat against the base of the stem. And this is where having a smaller pair of scissors, the precision tip, really, really helps. And then what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm just going to run the hot glue at the edges. Just a little bit of it down in there. Because there will be stuff sitting on top of this. And then I'm just going to use my little glue top finger. So we have the first one on, connected from the bottom all the way to the top. Next one I'm going to put on is this one here. You have two choices to do with your ribbons. You can either line the seams up beside one another and try to get them as close together and run it the same way all the way down, or you can slightly overlap depending upon what your other ribbons are. Now mine, I'm going to match the seams as closely as possible. Actually, if you notice, I'm actually using my fingers to try to do this a little bit, manipulate it, because when I flip it to the bottom, I want it to be as close to where it needs to be on the bottom as possible. Now, that first strip, I didn't tack it down in a lot of spots. With this strip, I will have to. But and I am eventually, when these seams come together, I'm going to be putting something down that covers the seams so you will not see the seams. But as you see, I am coming to the bottom here. Now, if you noticed, this one's a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim that off. So sort of a remeasure, so to speak. So that's probably taking it to right at 12 is my guess. Let's see. So instead of the initial 14, well, it's probably still 13 inches. So, but what I'm doing now, because what it is your other ribbons, as you do this, are going to overlap down here at the bottom. So it may not be too big of an issue, but we're just going to go for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the glue right here across the bottom. Right across here. And see what happens. Now, if you're using a pumpkin that might be foam, because they do make foam style pumpkins, is that there is a possibility what you can do with the foam pumpkins is on the creases of the pumpkins, you can actually cut down into them little and use a little skewer or something, and you can actually tuck the edges of your ribbon down into a foam pumpkin if you wanted to. Now, because I'm going to match up the seams, the edging of the ribbon, I'm actually going to tack this a little bit more. So I'm actually going to just do a zigzag up the pumpkin. And you notice I'm not taking it all the way across the width of the ribbon. Not yet anyway. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I did a little bit of tacking, and then I'm pushing down on it, lift my ribbon back, zigzag some more glue up through here. And you don't want to try to do it all at once. Glue, hot glue, will dry pretty quickly, even though when it gets on your fingers, you don't feel that it's drying quickly enough because the heat remains. As you see, tacking it in place, pushing it down my finger. And you don't want to push too much or it will come through and it's going to give you a sheen on your ribbon, which mine just did, but I'm okay with that. So, we'll do more zigzag up into here. Let's see if you guys can see it. All I'm doing is just kind of zigzagging it in there because hot glue does spread. And as you see, matching up the seams as closely as possible. Using my protected fingers. Pushing it down in there a little bit. Okay, next one. Now, a future camera setup, I will at some point have a camera above me that you will be able to get a better view as to what I am actually doing. Apologies for the puppies that are outside. Like I said before, they can hear me speaking in here. So, and they are attention dogs. Okay, we're almost at the top with this one. And by having to cut this one off at the bottom, because just before we did all that, we measured it and cut a little bit off. It should land right perfectly at the stem, right up here. I'm doing this sort of backwards here so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Alright, I'm going to flip it around here for just a second so I can see. Okay. Alright. Now, it's fallen a little short of my stem up here, but I'm okay because I'm going to be putting something up here, so it's going to cover it. So always keep that in mind when you're doing it, as we say, by the seat of our pants. So now I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to go in. I'm going to start at the middle, and I'm going to tack that spot down first. Just reach up underneath there and put some glue in there. Spread it out some. Woohoo! Caught the hot glue with that thumb. And remember, with hot glue, once it cools, all the strings, all the excess and stuff, you can pretty much wipe off. Or as like I say, make it a happy opportunity and put something on top of it. So as you can see, it's now tacked down in the middle, so now we're going to work it from this spot up and this spot down. Because it's not going to lay as close to straight and tight as we'd want, but it's going to have some ripples in it. Because you got to remember, your pumpkins are curved. I'm going to have to put another glue stick in. But use your little fingers or a stick or what have you. And just kind of work it in there. Now what's going to happen, I see, is I'm going to actually wind up lifting the top up a little bit. Well, no, if I do that, I need to think about this. See, I've never done one with ribbon before. So we're just going to make it work. We're going to put a little bit creases in here, and we're just going to make this work. We're just going to make it work. Yes, we are. And see, with this one, we went straight. Now what we're doing is trying to match up the seams, so it's not as easy to make them straight. So we're having to kind of contour as we come up, and that is what's creating this. But I am okay with that. I do not aim for perfection. Art is unique and individual, just like the creators. Now, if I was going to sell this, that might be a different story. And there's probably tips and tricks. I could probably give my BFF a phone call and see how she would do this. Now, it's probably sort of like wrapping paper. You want a perfect thing, cut a little corner out of the ribbon and stuff, and it'll make it lay perfectly straight, no creases. That's not me. Like I said, I dare to be different. And I'm actually kind of liking this. So now I'm going to go down and I'm going to finish the bottom part here. Throw some hot glue up into here, and we're just going to go to town and get it into place. I mean, I'm trying to kind of smooth it out where there's not too many wrinkles, but the wrinkles are going to add character, and I'm fine with that. You guys want to on your own. If you want to do one of these, you can absolutely work with it. Now, I am at the bottom of the pumpkin here because at this point it is down. So I'm at the bottom side, so you're not really going to see this. So what I'm going to do, because of what it's doing here, I am actually just going to take, and it's like I'm going to make a hospital corner and just tuck it in there. And I'm going to put some glue. First I'm going to cut this little funky end off so I don't have too much sitting down there. Because you do need to remember, at some point your pumpkin has to sit flat on a surface, be it a charger or something like that, or you can add something to the bottom of it, because I actually have an idea of what I'd like to do for the bottom. But there's that. Woohoo! And surprisingly enough, the hot glue, the heat, goes through the little finger tip things. First time I've ever used them. I've had them for like 5 years. Just took them out of the package the other day when I found them in a box. So far that's what we've got. Now I'm going to take this other ribbon, this one right here, and I'm going to put it on that side. See how this goes. So, going from the top to the bottom. Yeah, see, I've got a pretty good overlap, so I'm going to cut a portion of that overlap off. Okay, and like before, I'm going to start at the top. And see, and as you're lining up with this one, because everything is eventually at the top going to have other ribbon against it. So the top, don't worry too much about it. If you didn't want to worry about this, because I'm going to be putting something at the top that will cover the open pumpkin, you could leave them long if you wanted to, which I probably should have done, hindsight 2020, but on the fly, I wing it. But we're going to start with this one up here at the top, and we're going to work our way to the bottom. So let's go ahead. I tell you what, rather than putting it on the pumpkin this time, I'm just going to take the hot glue straight across the ribbon, and I am going to have to add another stick here in just a second. So just like before, we're going to take and we're going to start right here at the top. That's interesting. Okay then, because it's actually going to overlap down through that way, but it's all going to work out. Patty, just trust the process, Patricia. Trust the process. Alright, secondary glue stick. Okay, we're just going to trust the process for what it is. I've not done one with resins before. This is new to me in my wheelhouse. Just like before, I'm going to go through on the inside seams first, and I'm going to get it all tacked down into place. So, like before, we are simply going to take and we're going to zigzag some glue up into here. And then we're going to work it down into place with our fingers. Or if you might have a bone folder or something similar, you can use the bone folder. You know what? I may use the bone folder. Look. Hello. Okay then. So, future reference. And this is a heavy-duty thick bone folder. I have one of these. You know what? This right here is a sticker remover that you can buy off of Amazon. It's just a heavy-duty piece of plastic. I may use this and see. Talk about protecting the fingers. And the dry glue, you can go back in and scrape it off. Look at that. Learn something new every day. Okay, so, alrighty, here we go. So, hot glue, zigzag some hot glue. Just put some fresh glue in there, so. Alright. Bring her down into place. And I am pulling on her a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to be putting stuff in between the ribbons at the seam lines. Oh yeah. Now I will say using a bone folder stuff is going to push the glue. It's going to create a shine on your ribbon. You see that? It's going to create a shine on your ribbon. But, you know, for this one, it's not going to matter too much. Now, if you're doing something that's a sheer color or a red or something, it might be an issue. But I don't think it's going to matter too much on this. The whole point of these videos is just to give you inspiration to do something on your own. See, make it your own. More glue. Uh-oh. My new glue stick didn't. There we go. Gotta love hot glue, though. Could you imagine having to do this with Elmer's glue? I mean, it's possible, yes, but it takes forever to dry. Okay, so I'm pulling it tight. Gonna run this Down through here. I'm glad I discovered that. Now, take this section here, run some more glue down. We're just going to take it on down through that way. See how far we get with it. Okay. I have to say, I like using that. Now what I'm going to do, this is what the bottom is looking like now. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this piece off at the bottom. So there is a learning curve on this, and I understand that. Especially, people are like, well, I'm going to do this beforehand, but you know what? By doing it and watching me as I'm doing it for the first time, you're going to learn possible mistakes, possible shortcuts, hacks as they call them. I like that. Alright, so I'm going to start at the top and we're going to get the sides down. And see, it is leaving some glue, dried up glue through here. But, oh yeah. And I do know that if you have a heat gun, one of these little doodads, you can go in later with glue strings and stuff like that. Pop a little heat to it, it's going to make them melt and go away. So we're going to go down through here and we're just going to tack our other edges down. I'm just going to, as I say, wing it. And rather than force it like I did on that one, I'm just going to go through and do this. And come what may with the creases and rolls, and we're going to live with it, except when you need to go back and add some more glue because it's not going down how you thought it was going to. So this is actually going to wind up putting some extra glue out to the side of my pumpkin here. So I'm actually going to have to get in, because when I did that, it pushed extra glue out. You could see it there. So what I'm going to do real quick, as I push this down and get to the last spot there, I'm going to go ahead and pull as much of that glue off of there as possible. I mean, it's going to be covered with the other ribbons, but woohoo! I am making a mess, folks. Just wait for it to dry, Patty. There you go. Push it out. Take it off with your thumb. Now, I will say this much I have discovered. If you have glitter ribbon like this is right here, because this is fully glitter, the orange is all glitter. The glue stick is coming through the glitter and it's just washing the glitter away. So it's like creating a streak, but it's Halloween. Doesn't bother me. So I would forewarn you, if you're going to use glitter ribbon, be careful about that. Just put it, because as you see, I overbuild, I over glue. I want to make sure it's not going to fall apart, come apart. So run some more up through here. And we're going to see, this is good. This was going to have some pretty good creases in it, but I'm not going to let it bother me. I am not going to let it bother me. It's going to become unique. And I'll tell you why I'm not letting this bother me. Because I have a lot of stuff that I'm going to add to this pumpkin. And so, there's the potential of having a spider or a bat, something like that, to cover that spot. Now, here at the bottom of this, I'm going to go ahead and trim this one, like I did the one before. And I can tell you, with these ribbons, since I'm not tucking like a foam ribbon, you would cut the splice and push it in there. With this, since I'm actually gluing it down, I would recommend using 1 or 1.5 inch ribbon rather than 2.5, 1.5, 2.5 because of that. And I may, in the future, I may have to make another one to see if it works a little bit better. So let me go ahead and throw some glue up through here to get all that tacked down. I got to go back up into that space too. I have extra glue there, so we're going to move that up to here. And like I said, learn as you go. There's probably videos out there show you how to do this perfectly. Perfection is not my mojo. It just simply is not. Now, this is going to be sitting on the bottom, and you see how it's creased there? I'm just going to tack it in place. I don't want to cut any more off of it. Because what I'm actually going to wind up doing with this one, I'm actually going to put a base on it. I'm just trying to figure out, I have an idea. I have an idea, but that's when we get there. So, that is the first 3 of the ribbons that I have on here. And I know they're creasy and such, but I mean, it's not as bad as you would think. It's not as bad as you would think. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the rest of the ribbons on here, and I'll come back. Alright, I figured I'd come by, like, flying by the seat of my pants here. So I'm trying to, did these first 3 first, figured out, yeah, going straight is not going to work. You're going to have to overlap them. So now I'm working on this one. And yeah, this is, like I said, fly by the seat of my pants. And you know what? I am okay by that. And I have glue strings everywhere, but I figured I'd bring you along. This is where I'm having to figure out, because I'm having to overlap the words, and I'd like to have them showing some. So, the struggle bus is real, people, when you've not done this kind of stuff before. You're learning on the fly, and they say, well, practice before you go on video and stuff. Well, the thing about it is if I let you guys see what I'm struggling with, this way, if you're doing it and it's, you're like me and you don't always see what would make more sense to do this helps you to let you know that you're not alone. We all have to learn sometime. And in my case, I learn while on video. Now the glue stick. And you will go through, anytime you're using a glue stick project, when you're using hot glue, you're going to go through a lot of glue sticks, so make sure you have plenty on hand. Doing my zigs. Well, not really my zigs. I guess I'm just kind of going straight down right now. Don't you hate it when your glue guns don't want to cooperate sometimes? So I'm just kind of using this. I'm going to have to clean this up here in a second because it's getting bogged down with glue. And you could, just 1 or 2 spots down through it, but I like to make sure, because especially if dogs knock it over, I knock it over when I'm cleaning, kids might come by and play with it. You don't want it to come apart. Because I will say that's the one thing, when I've done stuff in the past, that I have fun, so time doesn't, amount of time that something might take me doesn't bother me too much, but to see it possibly destroyed because somebody wasn't paying attention, and it's tough to always pick up a project back up later to fix it, and you can get discouraged easily, especially if it turns out to be something that you absolutely love. So that's what I've got so far. And as you see, because I started with these 3 here going just straight up, this one is sticking out over here. But again, the other ribbons are going to cover it. I might go ahead and trim that with my scissors, which let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm just going to trim that. Why not? And you probably hear my fan at the background. It's down here at my feet. Because my AC will probably be in sometime in the next week. So hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I need to go ahead and tack these down. Let's see here. We're just going to run lines. And if you notice my fingertips, I took the little pink covers off of them, the hot glue covers. They started cutting the circulation off in my fingers. And I almost didn't get them off. So, word to the wise, if you use the little fingertip covers, be aware of that. It might try to cut the circulation off in your fingertips. I mean, it's cut to, I wasn't noticing it first, and then it started burning, and I'm like, why are my fingertips burning? And then I realized it had gotten so tight on there, I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. Now, I could have taken time to, perfect this before I come on camera. But here's where I find, number one, I don't want to have a lot of finished pumpkin crafts and stuff hanging around. I'm trying to minimalize for one thing. I don't decorate as much for my holidays anymore as I used to. So a lot of my stuff that I make, I will have to find homes for. Now this will not. My youngest son, who still lives at home, he loves Halloween, and I promised we would decorate again this year. We haven't in a few years, and I found out Halloween is his favorite holidays, I'm going to make sure to decorate for him this year. You hear that, JD? My husband. He watches the videos to encourage me, and I appreciate that. That's just a hot mess down there. I don't even know what my brain was thinking, but hey. See, and you watch me, and then you'll know for the future. I will know for the future when I decide to do more of these, what not to do. It's all a learning curve. Somebody has to learn how to do it the first time. I'm too lazy to go out and look at other people's videos to figure out the foolproof, easy way to do it. So I'm just winging it. Crazy craft lady who wings it. This one is going to be interesting. So far, okay, so these are the first 3 strips that I started with. And then I figured out they're going to have to overlap and create some funkiness, but I will tell you this much. And my sister-in-law tells me this all the time. I start out with an unusual idea in my head, and I just wing it. And my stuff can look like an absolute hot mess as you're going through the process. But when you get towards the end, I make it work. Now, I wouldn't recommend that if you're building a house. I wouldn't recommend it if you're working on a car. Don't wing it. Please know what you're doing. Or pay someone to do it for you. In my case, I'm fortunate I have a husband that has the ability to do all of that. So I'm good on that part. Whew, I have glitter all over my shirt. But that is where I'm at the moment. So learning curve number 1 is you're not going to be able to go straight and down because this is a taller pumpkin. Now the shorter pumpkins, you should be able to do straight strips because it's not as wide. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the ribbons finished on this, but I wanted you to see the process. And like I said, it's crinkling up, but it's adding dimension. Because face it, not all pumpkins are pretty and smooth like this. And honestly, this is for me. I'm not selling it. Not giving it away that I know of. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll come back in a few minutes once the ribbons are on and we'll go from there. All the ribbons are on. We're going to officially call this the Mad Hatter Ribbon Pumpkin. The ribbons started straight and they went weird. But I am okay with that. When you make one, if you chop to make one, work with what works for you. That's the bottom. And the top. Take your time. Don't go really fast like I did. I have a really bad blister already popped up on this thumb from a bad glue gun burn. If you use wide and little ribbons, I recommend just using 2.5 inch coordinating ribbons. Leave the third one out because I think that's what possibly caused this. I'm not sure. But considering I've never done one of these before, I think I've done pretty good in my eyes because I am whimsical, unique. I like this kind of stuff. So we're cool on that. Add this. I've got a little bit of juice left. Let's get some glue on this and get it down. If I've still got enough on it to get it glued down, I hope. I've had to turn off my light above me so that I can recharge one of my batteries. Wow. Can't believe I've used this that long. But it happens. Alright. Okay. Hopefully that'll be enough. And then hold it down in place as much as possible. Yes, realistically, with a pumpkin this size, you only need to do it on the inner part because this doesn't seem to be touching unless it's on the ribbon. And I will go in and touch it up when I have strong power to this. But I've got it on that. So apologize for the lighting. I had the above light on, but I had to turn it off so that I would be able to recharge that. Still working out the kinks, guys, so I'm rebooting the studio here. It's a work in progress. It's getting there. Okay, so I have a hat on it, so this is what we're at so far. Weirdness and all. But I don't think I'm going to put the black pumpkin on there. Don't need that. It's already a pumpkin. Don't need the other hat. I have some of these. They're the glittery orange and glittery black. I have some everybody's favorite Halloween candy. Candy corn. Yes, I do love candy corn. My husband loves it. My husband loves candy corn. Got a black branch. I will probably put it on there. I have a black moon, or grayish black moon. We have a gold branch. And then I also have some purple bats. And they're actually clips. It came from Dollar Tree a few years ago. Matter of fact, there you go. Yeah, these guys. And then I have the boo. And I have some really cool pipe stem style witches hats. And I also have, oops, an owl. Woohoo! Can't keep in its touch. An owl. So I have more, but this test happens to be what I could grab a hold of real quick. And so that's what we're going to go with. I'm thinking I want to put, do I want to put owl in here? Ooh, let's see if I could get him in the right Actually, is there a way to put him in the top? Let me see if there's a way. Let me take a look at this hat here. Is there a way to put him in the top? That way I don't mess up what's already on top of the... There has to be... That's what I'm going to do. Alright, so let me see if I can get the paper off of this fellow. Because there's a white paper and I don't want it sticking out. Because the inside of these hats are plastic, like a plastic frame type thing. And it's that way all the way up through the hat. So I'm actually going to poke it through one of the holes in it. And then I'll come in with the hot glue gun in a few minutes and I will anchor it in place. Which side I should put it in? Let's do it with the eek side right there. I'm going to tuck her in. Just like that. There we go. So, she's just like that. Alright. She's going to be up out of view while we're working on the rest of it. Well, let's see. Hold on a second. See, I'm still recording on my cell phone. There we go. Still recording on my cell phone. My camcorder will do a bigger shot. But yeah, okay, so there she is. That's where she's at. Now, let's put some bats in here. Who needs hot glue when you got clips? I like that. I like that. See, there's the... I'm going to put one... Let's see, she's got a lot of her purple off. Well, I guess they all do. Well, I'll put one back here. And what I'm doing with the clips is I'm just reaching in through the frame and just clipping it to the frame. And I'm not going to actually hot glue those in case I want to do something different. Let's see. I'm going to put the moon here on the back. I'm going to do the moon on the back here. My hot glue over here. I'm going to go ahead and I want to put this moon on one of the sides here. Let me lift the pumpkin back up, guys. And we're probably just going to put the moon over here. I think we're just going to hot glue the moon over to here. So we're going to go ahead and drop some hot glue on the back, and because this is such a large moon and it's of course crescent shaped, it's not all going to sit on the pumpkin. But we're going to get as much hot glue on it as we can to get it glued into place here. I'm just going to hot glue her in there, and I am pushing on it, so hoping that will help. Otherwise it won't stay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in at the top and here at the back with some extra hot glue to try to convince it to stay. That it's in its best interest. In the best interest for it to stay. Okay. So reinforcements, shall we say. Reinforcements. You try to tuck it in there where it can't be seen, but this may not work. This may not work. I don't think it's going to work because it's, well, because it's so large. It might, I mean, you see how much it comes away from it? But I like it. I mean, I'd love to find a little black cat to put up there. Ooh, I'm going to find a black cat. I don't have any black cats, but I bet you I can find a black cat. I'm going to give a little bit more reinforcement through here. I'm going to have to drop another glue stick in too. And like I said earlier, you don't worry about all your strings, because you can go back and take them off later, because they come off pretty easy. So it looks like you put enough hot glue on anything. Yeah, sort of like duct tape. You know, duct tape can just work wonders sometimes. I need to come in, I'll turn this sideways. I need to come up underneath the underside here and give some, because you want as big of a point of contact as you can on something like this, because the pumpkin is not a flat-sided surface, it's curvy. And so I'm doing there is just building up the surface that it's touching. That's all I'm doing there. And then I'm using the bone folder to help kind of push it in and increase the points of contact, so to speak. So there you go. And I really do. I want a black cat. I'm going to have to find me a black cat somewhere to add a black cat to that. So I may slip this branch in behind it. I'm going to slip the branch in behind it. I'm actually going to get it slid in there while the hot glue, that last bit of hot glue is still fresh. Get that slid in. And I'm going to tack it into place up here in one spot. I'm going to hold it in place. Holding the branch in place, trying to get it to tack in. I may... See, now the moon doesn't want to cooperate. I'm going to make it work. I will make it work. I don't know how, but I will. And that's what we get when we're winging it. When we wing it, we try to figure it out as we go. And as the more it dries, the better it's going to be. See, and there's that branch behind it. Let's see if I can adjust this light a little bit. Okay, but there's the branch. Don't know if I want to. No, I do not. I can go in and add. See, the branch is falling. I think I'm just going to have to take it as a loss. Take the moon off of it. Darn it. That's okay. So that means there's a lot of hot glue I got to deal with now. Let's see. Try to scrape as much of it off as I can. And see, that's what happens sometimes when you're working on stuff. I've done so much already, you don't want to have to scrap it because of this already. But sometimes you got to roll with it and figure something out. You may zig when you thought you were going to zag. But you do what you have to do sometimes. So what I'm going to do is just take this off. And I'm actually going to put that boo in on this side. I'm taking some more of the glue off because it's... I tried with the moon. It was the thought that counts. At least that's what we all tell ourselves, right? It's the thought that counts. I hear you, Beethoven. I hear you, buddy. That's one of the pups outside. See, when I get the air conditioning installed, probably next week, it looks like it should be in and functioning, I hope. At that point, you shouldn't hear my dogs. At least we hope not. So we're going to see... Oh, wow. Well, I used so much glue on that. See this? It's times like these when you sometimes have to wing it and you have to figure out a problem. I'm trying to get all that glue off that I used for the moon when I was building up, and it's not all wanting to come off. So I'm going to have to come out, and the boo is not big enough to cover it. So I'm trying to rub as much of it off of there as I can. See, crafting is definitely a process. It's an adventure. It is an adventure. It teaches you patience. It can drive an OCD individual very bonkers, or someone who may be borderline. Let's see. Where is... I think I'm probably going to take one of those other purple bats and put onto it. Where did... Okay, there they are. My Band-Aid keeps coming off. Man. I just have to pull the Band-Aid off. It's going to get in my way. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to have to pull the Band-Aid off. But yeah, that... See, there's my blister. You see how it's sticking out from my thumb? That's called a bad, bad, bad burn. Alright. Okay, I'm going to have to take the clip off of it. And that's what I'm going to wind up doing. Is putting the clip on it. I could potentially do the boo on there. No, too much purple. Alright, what I'm going to do... Now this, I had to use so much glue to try to build up the moon, and it caved anyway. And I can't get it off of there. Although I could try... No, I'm not going to try that. So I'm going to do something real quick. Bear with me. See if I can use my little sander and pull it off. I don't think this is going to work either. Some people would say just move on. Move on, let it go. No. I want whimsical, not forgotten and given up on. Well, the sander kind of works. Well, you know what? Let's put the little theory of a heat gun to test. Let's plug in my heat gun. See if we can make it go. I'm going to have to turn the overlight. Oh, it looks like that light. Well, it wasn't really making much of a difference, was it? So this is a heat gun like you would do embossing and stuff with, or drying stuff with. So we're going to see if this is enough to work. If it will melt it enough. Sure enough. Okay, the heat gun is melting it enough, but you're not going to see it white now. I can handle this. I'll be darned. And it does make the glue strings disappear. See, I'd always heard that, but I've never tried it. Darn Skippy. Look at that. You don't even, you see a little bit shiny, but that's it. But I'm getting ready to cover that up. So it's no longer white. So yes, a heat tool will get rid, it will melt it to the point where and it makes it sticky again. It makes it sticky again. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stick the branches in behind this. I'm going to grab a couple of little small spots on this branch. And then we're just going to go ahead and stick it where it's hot still from where I heated it up with the glue gun. Let's turn it sideways so you guys can see here. And we're actually going to leave it sticking out like that because this doesn't weigh as much as the moon does, so this should stay. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, shoelaces crossed if you've got them on. So how's your day going? Mine is interesting. I'm crafting, and that's all that matters to me. Okay, this is the start. I do want to tack it a little bit further to hold it into place. Okay, Let's go tuck in behind these. Simple tacks of glue. Protecting the thumb at all costs. Do not give yourself any further burns, Patty. Now I've got one of those creases in the ribbon when I was putting the ribbon on, right here. See, it's kind of, and I'm going to see if I can get this to move up into place and just, the tree is there, the little gold branch is there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bat on up here, and I'm just going to slather as much glue as I stand on the back of it. Problem is my battery on my hot glue gun, again, has gone out. I didn't start with all fully charged batteries for my hot glue gun, and that was a mistake. So lesson learned for the future. Make sure all the batteries are fully functioning and full. So we want to get him right in the middle here. And we're just going to hold him. And we're just going to hold him while we're pushing. And we're going to hold him some more. I feel like I need to say the states or something. But it's good to know about the heat gun and glue, the hot glue, that it can melt it and make all the little stringies and stuff fall away. But it's still the Hot Mess Express. Okay, she's not fully there, but she's there. I'm not going to mess with her anymore. So there's that. I'd really love to put the candy corn on there, right there. I really would. I think I should do it. I kind of think I should. Everybody's saying, don't do it. Well, yeah, don't do it, but look. Maybe the bat was actually going after the candy corn. Guess what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. No, she's not. Yes, I am. Oh, there she goes. She done it, folks. And yes, I talked to myself. Let's see. Tuck you in right there. And I didn't even bother to trim the bottom of that branch. I'm not going to, I don't think. Because I am going to go and I'm going to find over the weekend some black cats and little things to put over this, because it needs more. It's going to need more. And what I will do is I'll follow up on Monday with a short video on how I finish this up. Because this video here it's definitely going to be lengthy. I'm going to try to shorten it up as I'm editing. I'm going to go in with this heat tool real quick, and I'm going to hit this just to make the little strings go away. And remember, anytime using a heat tool, don't get too close to what you're using. You could potentially burn or completely melt what you're working on. But yeah, I definitely need... I still want to put the boo on here somewhere. I still want to put this boo on here. I still want to put that on there somewhere. I can't really put it there. I could put it... Oh, that's what I'll do. I'm going to put it over here. Let me get it put on, and then I'll show it to you guys. At least there's a little bit more space to put hot glue on this, instead of trying to figure out where to put it. Alright. And remember, Mad Hatter's Ribbon Pumpkin. Whimsical, over the top, not necessarily aesthetically pleasing, but who cares? It's right up my alley, which is just a little bit strange, a little bit wonky, unusual. That would be a good term for it. And the whole point of this is for you to get what I am like. And I am very much like this. I wing it the whole way through and just hope it turns out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So. Okay, so there's the boo. And I think, because originally I was going to add some stuff down through the seams and everything. And, what in the, oh my gosh. Excuse me for just a second. I used a pen on something earlier in between takes on this video. And obviously I got it on more places than I thought I did. Wow. Okay. I actually want to do something different with the boo. Where did the boo disappear to? There's, because she does blend it. Now, if you're standing here looking at her, you could see it. But she does tend to blend in just a little bit. Actually, if I find myself a black cat, if I can find a flat black cat, the camera's not going to pick it up really well. I definitely have to get some more lighting before the next video. Definitely need some more lighting. I think for now, that's all I'm going to do with it. I am going to work on it over the weekend. For now, guys. It's made me smile. And you know what I say? Make yourself smile. Then go find somebody else out there and make them smile too. You just might brighten their day. So, I'll see you next time. Look for a brief update video on either Sunday or Monday with how I finish this out. And I promise, by the time we have Monday's video, I will have different lighting. And fully charged glue gun batteries. See you next time, guys. Bye.